Welcome back to Late Night with Larry. This is your host, Larry D, and I'm here with my co-host, Vince.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, so tonight we think we're going to discuss the topic of legalization. You know, y'all heard about it, legalized weed. It's happening across the nation. Well, we're going to discuss what it's about, what it could do, and why people are afraid of it. So,
Yeah, and our opinions, we hope New Mexico jumps on the wagon quick because we're losing out.
yeah, we are losing out. I agree. And we're losing out on revenue. And so let's start with why. Why do you think people are so afraid to legalize this? And of course, we get it from some of the older politicians that just want to talk and they want research. I want facts. And I get that, but
Right, and it's the older crowd a lot, mostly because they were educated about it differently than we were. But do you remember that movie Reefer Madness? The government put out where you smoke marijuana, you're gonna lose your mind, you're gonna go insane, all that shit.
yeah, no, I do remember that. And I watched it. I was a high schooler in the 80s when MTV broadcast it. I thought it was wacky as shit and funny. I didn't see it. Didn't deter me in any way whatsoever.
Right.
A matter of fact, you know, we all tried smoking weed. We called it weed. Now they call it cannabis.
Cannabis.
But yeah, you know, in high school I experimented and I watched that while I smoked weed. So
Right, but I did not inhale.
that's right. Yeah. I concur with Bill Clinton. I didn't inhale either.
Right. But, you know, hopefully it'll be legalized. But for now, I'm going to have something that is legal.
Ooh.
That's the sound of freedom.
Ooh, and is that the Coors Light?
Yep. Can you see the Rockies are blue, my friend? It is time.
I can see. Once those mountains turn blue, drink away. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, and that's my thing. So
And like the older politicians here in New Mexico, they're pushing, they want more factual research. And I don't know exactly what they're looking for, but that's just what they keep pushing for.
I think it's an excuse because if you ask me, all right, you guys had prohibition, you know, before we were born. What kind of research did you do on that?
Right. And you're right. It is an excuse because being the older generation, they might not agree with it where their voters do agree with it. So wanting more research is their way of dragging their feet, dragging it out.
I agree. I totally agree with that. That's their excuse not to legalize it. Well, here's the catch-22. If you don't fucking legalize it, how can you research the effects of it?
Right.
You know so much about alcohol now because alcohol's legal.
Right.
And there again, they say, well, we don't want to legalize it because now we're going to be dealing with drunk drivers and stone drivers. And I'm like, well, what are you dealing with now anyway?
Exactly. Nothing's going to change. The only thing that's going to change is the income for the state.
Yeah, I agree. So you could either give your money to the cartels in the black market, or you could give your money to the state where they could use it for.
And the marijuana will be grown locally here, and a lot of it's already grown here in New Mexico. There's a place in Bernalillo, I know, and it's regulated, it's tested. You know, you don't know what you're going to get from the cartel.
Right, and you know, and that's they're following state guidelines, so that it has to be tested, regulated.
Right.
You know, they're like any other product. They don't want to put something that's
Yes.
been tainted or poisonous out on the shelf for you to consume.
Exactly. And our governor, she's put together a team to do more research and put together some legislation or something so she could take to, I guess they're having a session in January.
They are.
And it's going to be a 30-day session. So she wants her team to do the research and get some, you know, questions answered so they could present it before the legislation there.
Right. Well, this is the facts that were brought to my attention, and you're right. So what she's done is a legalization work group assembled by Democratic Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is pitching an oversight system That would limit state and local taxes on recreational marijuana to roughly 17% and license producers for as little as 500 a month with additional per plant fees.
Right.
So, she does see the revenue that could be generated from it. And
Yes, and a lot of the things that she's really pushing for is it's not a bad thing because she's pushing for the labeling, so it don't get in the hands of children. And she was pushing for, if they're going to advertise, she don't want to do any cartoons or any of that stuff that would like target the youth.
right. And I agree. She, keep it strictly adult based.
Right,
You don't
exactly.
you don't see cartoons on the beer commercials, and I totally agree with that. But at the same time, let's be realistic about it.
Right. And another thing she wanted to do, if it is legalized, she wanted to keep it separate from the medical, just to control costs.
Right.
And they would make the medical cannabis tax free.
Right, and that's a good thing. And I think medical should be tax free.
It should.
And I think around 17% that'd keep us in line. That way, people ain't jumping ship going to Colorado.
Right. And see, that was another thing she's afraid of. If the price is too much, they're going to go back to the black market.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where they're at now because it's not legal.
Right. There's, you know what? It's interesting because I'm sure there's still a big black market here in New Mexico for it. But how many people do you think actually drive to Colorado and get it?
A ton. So, I don't know if it was Action 7 News. I think it was, but one of our news outlets here, they actually did that. So when it first got legalized in Denver, they waited a while, and then they went up there, and of course they compiled the data, and they were saying the amount of people that drive from New Mexico into Colorado to score, to buy, and bring it back, it was phenomenal.
Right.
And they know because you had to show your ID when you got in.
Right. When you walk into the dispensary, that's the first thing they do is they take your ID.
Right.
And they keep it, they log it down, and they hold your ID until it's your turn to go in the back room.
Yep. That's so true. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it from the tax revenue basis that it could do good for our state.
It could do a lot of good. I forget the numbers. They're projecting like in 5 years it'll bring in like 600 million a year, somewhere around that line in tax revenue.
I have the numbers right here. It says, and this is one of our city councilors here in Albuquerque, Pat Davis. He told the lawmakers to expect more than $50 million in tax revenue within a year from recreational marijuana sales, and at least $94 million as the market stabilizes in 5 years.
Okay.
So, and I think it'll be higher than that.
Okay, the number I was referring to might be sales, but that doesn't sound right. I see there'll probably be more sales than that.
I'm sure. I mean, it's like everything. They do the best they can to project.
Yes.
Because they don't have actual usage. So,
Right, exactly.
And of course, you go out on the street and ask people, well, do you smoke marijuana? Oh, no, God, no, I don't,
Right, exactly.
Which, a lot of people do, but they say they don't. Well, they fear for their job because on the federal scheduling, it's still under Schedule 1.
Right.
Which you'll lose your job.
Yeah, and another thing, if it does become legal federally, how about these guys that are in jail for these, like, say, trafficking or whatever?
Well, I know California started a program where they're expunging records of, people that were caught with, say, minimal amounts.
Right.
I don't know about the big time movers that were caught with, let's say, 100 pounds, but...
Right, but you think their sentence would be at least cut down?
I think they would.
Yeah, that would make sense. It don't make sense to keep somebody in there for something that's now legal.
Right, and it'd be like, okay, back then it was illegal, now it's not, so...
But you would think they would cut the sentence down enough where, like, now it'd be, okay, time served.
Yeah, and if it got rescheduled and legalized, nationwide, I think that would be the right thing to do.
I agree, because it would be stupid to keep those people in jail for that while the government's making money the way they were trying to make money.
Right? It's like, wait a minute, I'm still locked up in here, but you're selling weed on the outside?
Right, exactly.
Where's the fucking justice in that? And so, I think I would vote for it if they put it on the ballot. I know I would vote for it because I'm tired of seeing all this cartel violence, and we have put a damper in the cartels by legalizing it in, I think, 13 states, or I don't know. I have the numbers, but it's getting legalized everywhere.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, and if they put it on the ballot, I would vote for it also. I don't use it, because of my job, but like you said, why give the money to the cartel when we keep it right here?
right. Yeah, well, it says 33 states and the District of Columbia have some type of legalization, recreational and medical. So
Okay, I didn't know that many states had recreational.
no. It's a combination.
Okay.
33 states.
Okay, either one or the other or both.
Yes.
Okay, because I know the recreational number was pretty low.
I think the recreational number's at like 13.
Yeah,
13.
that sounds right.
And, that's like a quarter of the country. Medical, it's almost the whole damn country.
Right.
Except for your conservative states. And speaking of conservative states, I think Oklahoma, they're finally giving into it.
Right.
But it's, we got a way to go, but I think we've come a long way.
Right, we have. At least now it's on the table and it's being talked about.
Right. And I'm just not saying it for the stoners, because that stereotype's gone. There's, doctors,
Right.
lawyers that won't admit it, and that they use this.
Exactly.
They smoke it.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, but I read an article where they're pretty confident it's going to get legalized this year.
hey, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Right. Well, not this year, but in 2020.
2020. Well, they do hit they hit the legislative arena here in January.
January, yep, and that'll be a 30-day session,
Yeah.
and that's why the governor wanted her team to put all this information together. And another thing she wanted them to look into is like enforcement, public safety, treat it like a DUI. But what they're
Right.
talking about is how do we test for it? Because you can't really do the blood test for alcohol, for THC, because if you used it yesterday, it's still going to be in your system.
Right. No, and they have a way.
Right, and what they were talking about is going back to the field sobriety test.
Right. You know how they're going to do that on the field sobriety test? Let's pull him over. I think this guy's stoned. Let's test him. So the cop's going to get out, and he's going to say, "What would you prefer, sir? A chili dog or a pretzel?" If you say, "Dude, I'll take the chili dog,"
Yep.
you're busted.
I'll take the chili dog if you got something to drink.
They'll say, "Would you want one or two chili dogs?" If I could have two, dude, that'd be cool.
That would be great if I could have them before I get home, because my wife has me on a diet.
I think that's how they're going to do the field sobriety.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think it's coming. It's coming soon. So now we know that there's going to be benefits. I mean, and look
Right.
what Colorado's doing. They're rebuilding their roads, their
Right.
schools.
And that's another thing they got to focus on. If they legalize it, where is the money going to be allocated to?
Yeah.
And one person wants to put it toward medical spending.
Right.
And I do agree. Some of it has to go there.
Right.
But why can't we use it for education, for our infrastructure?
I think percentage it should be broken up and earmarked, like you said, some for infrastructure, some for education, and some for medical, like rehab facilities or whatnot.
Right, and they were also talking about the medical marijuana program to subsidize it to help low-income people who need it, who are suffering from cancer or whatever.
Right, and I'm cool with that, but you got to prove that you're low income. Can't be the homeless guy going into the dispensary and saying, "I'm homeless, but I need my medicine."
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, no, bro. We're not. We already pay enough for you.
Right, but if they do that, you think they'll subsidize me for my alcohol?
No, I don't think so. I think on that one you're going to get taxed just like you've always been.
Veto.
Veto, right?
Well, it don't hurt to ask.
Yeah, well, it doesn't hurt to ask. So, taking it back, we know that that's coming, legalization. But here's the other spinning point that I think is good about if we legalize it, which Trump already kind of has in the Farm Bill. He's legalized the production of hemp.
Yes.
Now, that I think that's a no-brainer.
Well, that's a big one. That's a whole different conversation. But that's a big one.
It is. But, I mean, if you look at the products that can be created with hemp, and, of course, hemp, it doesn't have the THC content that marijuana does or cannabis, and because they're grown differently, and they let the male and female mix, so the THC level goes down, produces all the seeds, kind of like that Mexican ragweed that you get back in the 70s and 80s and 90s,
But they could do so much with hemp. They could make paper. They could make clothing. They could make parts for automobiles, like the interiors and stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to give you just 15 products that could be made from hemp. So since you popped one, and the first one on the list is beer. Beer and hemp are the perfect match. That's because hops and cannabis are essentially botanical cousins. Breweries around the country are now using hemp to make cannabis-infused beer as well as infused wine in some wineries. Now, the infused beer doesn't have the THC content,
right?
But the wine does.
Oh, wow! That's
yeah. So beer's one. Sunscreen.
Okay.
Hemp seed milk. If you're lactose intolerant, there's your alternative. Shoes, rope, clothing such as pants, jeans, shirts, hats, etc. Hempcrete. Now this one's a good one. I've seen how they use hempcrete, and they're using it in Canada. So Canada has this project that they're building homes with hempcrete, and it's just as sturdy, if not stronger than concrete. And the way they make it's amazing. And they pour it like concrete. But here's the catch. With concrete, you risk getting mold. Right. You risk mold just spreading. While hemp breathes, it breathes, it's porous. There's no risk of getting mold in hempcrete. So you could build a house and it's going to be mold resistant.
Right, and it has the same strength as concrete.
Stronger, they say.
Wow. Well, that's a no-brainer. We should switch.
Right. And right here, a hemp sports car. And I've seen cars made in Europe through hemp, and they've hit them with hammers, and they don't dent. It bounced right off. So the Renew sports car has been making headlines over the past couple years because it features a body made out of hemp. And this is what Jay Leno drove on Jay Leno's garage. He drove one.
Okay.
And if Jay Leno endorses it,
right?
Come on.
He is the man.
Yep, forget about it. Especially, he's a car collector, so.
Do you remember that Cheech and Chong movie when they had the van made out of pot?
Yeah, up in smoke.
No, it was Nice Dreams.
Oh, Nice Dreams. Yeah.
They were way ahead of their time.
Yeah, they were. So, and of course, paper. Hemp paper is better than paper made out of wood pulp. You've seen how they make that. All those toxic chemicals. And then where do they shoot them? Into the stream, right? By the factory.
Now, speaking of like making hemp paper as opposed to wood paper, what is they're both renewable.
Right.
What is the growth rate as hemp compared to like trees?
So how long does it take to grow a forest to get the trees? Years. Years. And we could have a new hemp crop every 90 days where we're generating paper. So it's better for the environment, better for the pocket,
Yeah.
It's better all the way around. Protein powder, hemp seeds considered to be a superfood. They're full of fatty acids, tons of protein, antioxidants, amino acids, and many other critical nutrients such as omega-3s. There's a documentary that talks about the people in the Andes Mountains, and of course they can't grow nothing because they're so high up there. So what they do is they grow hemp. It grows everywhere, and they shake the plant, kind of like getting the wheat chaff.
Right.
same thing, and then they crush it and they make cakes, which the cakes are so rich in nutrients. That's what they live off. It's like eating fish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, omega-3s, your vitamin. It's
Right,
crazy how
right.
nutritious it is. It's full of nutrition. So everyone go out and buy a hemp cake. Diapers. Now they said these are reusable, and they're like, people wouldn't use them, but we got diapers just sitting in the landfill, not breaking down, takes years.
Right.
And they're like, okay, that one, I don't know if you're going to sell people on it, but
Well, in a few years we might need diapers.
right. And there's, well, I may sooner than you, but
Well, the way I drink, I kind of wear one just in case.
but they say these are more absorbent than the cotton ones, which I believe.
that's what I need.
Right. Okay, then let's.
That's it was either that or the catheter. So
Well, I don't want the catheter. Oh. And fuel. I mean, they make fuel out of the hemp too. So hemp can be processed into hemp biodiesel and hemp ethanol/methanol, both of which can be used as fuel. In fact, hemp-based fuels are supposed to be significantly more eco-friendly and cost-efficient than petroleum fuel.
right. The only trick is to getting the cost down, because
That's right.
at first everything's going to cost.
Well, it is, but like anything else. But once you get the factory set up, the refinery set up,
once you get rolling.
rolling, no pun intended.
Yep.
And then here's one that I found was interesting, because I did a college paper on hemp, and I knew all what hemp could do. But like supercapacitors, they're saying that supercapacitors today are made with what is it? What's it called? Graphene. Yeah, graphene. And the nanosheets are made out of graphene. While in 2014, a Canadian scientist figured out how to make the nanosheets out of hemp, which made better supercapacitors.
Wow.
And it brought the cost down. But there again, maybe in Canada they'll start doing that now, because it's totally legal nationwide.
Right. And that's why we need to get on board, because we're falling behind.
We are. The rest of the world's getting on board and we're not. And then
Right.
finally the CBD oils, which everyone's hearing about. They're on every corner.
Right. And not only hearing, I've used them myself. I have a bad shoulder. I haven't tried the cream, but I've tried the drops, and they help. They help with inflammation.
Right. I haven't tried the CBD oils. I mean, but
Now
I hear everyone talk about them.
yeah. Now they have different kinds. The one I get is the one with 0 THC because of my job. Of course, I don't need it in my bloodstream. But they said the most effective CBD is the full spectrum, because it uses more of the plant. And I want to try it, but I need my job first.
I know. It's the government and rescheduling of this natural plant
Right.
that keeps people from trying natural remedies that may help. I mean, look at now the VA's suggesting, cannabis for the veterans and whatnot. They just got to get with the program.
Right. But if the VA is on board, it's only a matter of time before the federal government gets on board.
Right. And they need to.
They do. And we all need to. I mean, it's like you said, it's not about the stoners. Just think of the revenue. Think of what we can do with hemp, and just think of how much it'll help people that are suffering.
Right. I mean, just think of the economical boost. Now, people don't think it'll be much, but I think it will.
I think they'll be surprised.
But here's the thing that I think is going to be, we have our farmers that grow cotton, and we're going to have our lobbyists that want to cock block it like they do anything else.
Exactly.
Well, I tell these farmers, well, go ahead, grow a little cotton, but can't you cut your field in half and grow some hemp too?
Right.
Either way, you could sell your product to the market.
Exactly.
Are you afraid to grow hemp? You sure grew it for World War II.
Right. Exactly. Well, and you know what? That's a lot of it. People are afraid to do it right now. I guess it takes a lot of balls to be the first one.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? The first one's always the trendsetter.
Right.
And he's the one that gets rich.
Yep. Maybe we need to start a little farm in our backyard.
Oh, okay. Well, it grows anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a weed. It's a herb. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but I think this country needs to get on board.
Hell, yeah, I'm gonna start growing hemp, and I'm gonna make my kids' clothes.
And you know what the thing is? It's like the younger generation. I think it's because of them that it's where it is today because they're like, I don't drink alcohol. I don't want to drink alcohol.
Right.
You know, my dad drank alcohol every night he came home from work to relax, and now his liver's failed and he's got cirrhosis and he's dying. You know, and they're gonna say, "Well, you're gonna get lung cancer." Not true.
And well, not only that, but let's just talk about the effects of alcohol. How many times have you? Well, I'll just say it, we're both former service members. How many times have you been in a bar drinking and gotten to a fight?
Well, overseas or
Anywhere,
stateside?
anywhere.
Okay, well,
Well, I'm
it's-
talking our younger days.
that's just part of it.
That was part of it.
Yeah, because you're and here's the catch too. You know, I wasn't a drinker when I was in high school. Yeah, I smoked the weed, but I was forced to drink.
Because weed was illegal.
Right. That's
Okay.
right.
Now back to my question: how many times back in our younger days again, when you were experimenting with marijuana, did you go out and get into a fight?
Not once.
Not one damn time.
Not one damn time. All I wanted to do back then was play video games or play my guitar, be creative, shit.
And maybe
clean
make a
the
run to
house.
Allsup's for them damn burritos.
That was a must.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we never got rowdy. We never wanted to fight. But the minute you get drunk and whiskey, it's like you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof.
Right? You kind of looking for a fight sometimes.
Yeah. Your chest puffs out, and yeah, that's just what that does to you.
Especially ours, because being in the military, sometimes you have a stressful job, so you want to blow off steam, and that's, I guess, I'm not going to say that's the only way, but that's kind of how we're taught in the military.
Well, you follow the lead. You're like, okay, well, you're gonna get rowdy. I'm gonna get rowdy.
Yep, we're going to fucking destroy this whole damn bar is what we're going to do.
And sometimes you do, and that's why military personnel would get bad raps. You know, they're like, we don't want you in these bars, man. You guys just come and cause trouble. And
Right. Now, there was certain places where I would go, like in Japan, and they wouldn't even let us in the bar.
Well,
But you come to Gallup, and everyone's welcome. Come on,
Right,
Drunk Town,
that's
USA.
blame it on the alcohol. And there again, like we talked about growing up, that we've seen people pass out because of alcohol in the streets.
Right.
I ain't never seen that happen with marijuana.
No.
Never. I've never seen someone get high and pass out in the street.
I've seen them sitting in the park with a 12-pack of tacos, though.
Yeah, well, that's welcome.
Yeah.
But you know, they made it home and then they passed out. You know,
Right, exactly.
I just think it's been demonized for far too long, and
And that's the right word, because the government, for some reason, I've heard plenty of stories about, when our country first came together, why they made it illegal.
right.
And that's just it. They wanted to put a bad name, demonize it.
And they did, and it was Anslinger who did it. You know, it was, and I believe the man was a racist because he singled out the Mexicans
Right.
and the blacks.
And one of the stories I heard was when the Mexicans were coming over to work crops or whatever, they used to like to smoke marijuana. So he made it illegal, or somebody did, to try to keep the Mexicans out.
Yeah, and that was Anslinger, yeah. And he would blame, the jazz musicians. They smoke marijuana and then they want to rape our white women. And he demonized it. you know.
Right.
Which is a sad thing. That's what racism can do,
Right, but that's just a sad thing when you put a racist in that power seat. They put their own agenda out on everybody.
Well, of course. And it happens time and time again.
It's happening right now. We have a government, they're still taxing us, but they're not representing us.
That's right. And how do we stop that? We try by voting them out.
Well, you're right. We need to vote them out, especially these career politicians. But it takes more than just one vote. Every vote does count, but it takes more than just one.
Well, and it's sad, but they run in packs. You get one out, another one comes in. They're corrupted. They get corrupted by power.
Right.
And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean I can make as much money as you did? Oh, by screwing the people? Sure.
Exactly.
Okay, just like right now. Why won't they reschedule, you know, weed, marijuana to just take it, reschedule it, do away with it. Just make it in the same category as beer. Big Pharma won't have it.
Right.
Big Pharma don't. They're afraid of it. Yet they're on board wanting to develop cannabis medicine chemically in the lab, which it's not the same.
It's not the same, but what they're trying to stick their hands in the pot is what they're trying to do.
Right, and you can't reproduce what nature does in this plant.
Right.
It's been proven by these big pharma companies that have tried making
synthetic stuff.
synthetic marijuana, and
Right.
it just they don't get the same results.
They're pushing to keep it illegal, but they want their version of it.
Right. Which
But it ain't the same. You can't replicate Mother Nature.
you can't. I'm like, the hand of God touches that plant. You can't replicate
I
that.
believe that.
Everything God touches has a reason, and it's blessed. Everything man touches turns to shit.
Right, because there's greed behind it, and
That's why. I mean, greed. Yeah, look, we're killing the oceans.
we're killing our whole planet, not just the oceans.
Right. I mean, let's take that hemp products. You know, we use spoons and forks already that are plant-based, starch plant-based, and they're biodegradable.
Right.
I'm like, we could do the same with hemp, and
Yes.
we got to really think about what we're doing with these plastics. There was a whale, a young sperm whale that washed up in the news the other day on the shores of, I think it was New Zealand or something, and when they dissected it, they found over 200 pounds of plastic products, rope, partial nets, but mostly plastics in the belly. 200 pounds.
What was any of it? Walmart bags?
No, I think they were Target bags.
Okay, I was gonna say because us Latinos we use Walmart bags as trash bags. We repurpose that shit.
No, they were. This was just like plastic bottles because you've heard they're trying to
Right.
clean up the ocean. Well, that's what it was. It's all the plastic in the ocean. So, I was like, that's so sad.
It is.
That animal died because we don't have a better alternative.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, plastics were good for a while, but
Right. They serve their purpose, but we got to move forward and find something better.
right, we have to. I just see it because I have grandkids, and I'm like, I don't want to leave this world.
Right. What kind of world are we leaving for Keith Richards?
Right. That's right. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. But yeah, no.
Yeah. No, I agree. We need something better and biodegradable and shit. Why not make the forks where after you eat, you could eat the fucking fork, dude?
I agree.
We've done it forever. We use tortillas.
That's
Our spoons.
that's how we were raised.
Yeah.
And that's where the chip company Tostitos got the idea for the dipping chip.
Yep, exactly.
They're like, oh, look at those guys.
They're eating their forks. What the fuck?
How do they scoop up that meat, beans, rice, cheese, all in a tortilla like that?
Yep. We could make money on that.
That's right. That's a good idea. Market it.
Let's get them stoned and give them those chips.
That's right. All right. So I think we kind of touched the base. I mean, we could go on and on, but do you have anything you want to add?
No, there's going to be a part 2. We'll wait till after the session
That's right.
Here in New Mexico in January.
That's right. And
then we could keep everyone informed on what's going on.
yeah, we'll let you guys know how it goes for our state, and we'll let you know if we're still going to be a poor state, heavily dependent on oil and gas revenue,
Yes.
or if we're going to get another coffer that may help us
Right.
in our poor education state.
Right. And if it gets legalized, you guys could come to New Mexico, buy some weed, and come to our podcast.
That's right, and we could talk about all the movies that they film here. You could get high and take a tour.
That's funny. I was cruising downtown Central today, and they're filming another movie down there.
Yeah, I think this year we've had. I think they said at any given time there's like 80 productions going on statewide.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I see them all over, especially in the downtown area.
Well, I mean, look, Netflix, they're committed to building the studio, like I forgot, $1 billion over the next 10 years or some whatnot. CBS is developing the studio here. So, I mean, we're becoming little Hollywood.
Right. We are the new Hollywood.
That's right. So let's find a documentary maker out there. And there's already tons of documentaries about cannabis. But come on to New Mexico and make one about cannabis in New Mexico.
Or make one about us.
Try it.
I guarantee you we have some old military stories that you'd like to hear.
Oh, yeah.
But we won't talk about that
Right.
now.
You take your pick. All right. Well, I think we're going to end it there for tonight because we like to keep our podcast at a certain length so that we don't bore y'all. And once again, if you want to reach out to us at latenightwithlarry55@gmail.com. That's one word. And don't forget to subscribe to us and send us an email and let us know if you like it or not. We appreciate it.
Yeah, tell us you love us, you hate us. We'll cry for a little while, but we'll be okay.
Yeah, we will.
All right. Peace out. Be good humans.
Thank you.